Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
Sherlock Holmes is on the case. Moriarty. Sherlock Holmes is on the case.
Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
One of Holmes's strangest cases took 20 years to unfold. It all began on the moon.
Beautiful. Takes my breath away just looking at it.
If the oxygen generator breaks down, it'll really take your breath away, for good. Come on, you can wax poetic later. We've got work to do. You filed the papers like I told you?
No. There was a power failure in Galileo City and...
What do you mean, no? I told you I wanted them filed today. You trying to pull something on me, Shalto?
No. Cool it, Morstan. All the offices were closed because of the outage. I'll go later.
Make sure you do. We're sitting on a fortune here.
Don't worry, I'll...
Moonquake! Come on!
No, it's too dangerous!
Stay then, I'm getting out of here.
No! Morstan! Are you all right? I'll get help!
Shalto, stop!
I'll come back for you, Morstan! I promise!
Don't leave me down here! No!
Sherlock Holmes. Bring Sherlock Holmes back to life. Back to life.
It's elementary, my dear Watson.
Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
Sherlock Holmes is on the case. Moriarty. Sherlock Holmes is on the case.
Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
"20 years later, a young lady came to Holmes and me. She found herself in most peculiar circumstances. And you know Holmes. He simply could not resist getting involved.
This case already presents an interesting challenge, Watson.
I say, Holmes, this is too much. How do you know the young lady's not selling vacuum cleaners or some such?
Eyes and brains, sir. Eyes and brains. First, look how worried she is. There is some sort of mystery in her life, but it is not a matter for the police. Otherwise, she would be there, not here. Second, observe her luggage. Brand new and not much of it. She is undertaking a short journey, which may be the source of her concern. Third, her new clothing and ring. Difficult to afford such luxurious items selling vacuum cleaners. Well, what are you waiting for? Ask her in. Offer her some tea.
Yes, of course.
Now, where is it?
Miss Morstan, may I present Mr. Sherlock Holmes?
Thank you for seeing me on such short notice, Mr. Holmes. I hope to hire you. I'll pay whatever fee you ask. Within reason, of course.
That will not be necessary, Miss Morstan. This is one case I will take for the sheer pleasure of it. Watson, I've eliminated the impossible and the improbable, and I can still not deduce where, amongst my notes, you have hidden my lunar passport. I must find it. We are accompanying Miss Morstan to the moon.
How did you know? I've told no one.
Ah, here it is. That is my job, Miss Morstan, to know what others do not. How do I do it? Simple, really. I deduced you were going to the moon because you are wearing these, lunar striders. Shoes which are heavily weighted to give you stability in the low lunar gravity, but cause no end of discomfort while on Earth, and cannot help but make noise whenever you walk. Not to mention the fact that there is a lunar shuttle ticket protruding from your bag. Finally, I deduced that you needed my help from the very fact that you came here to Baker Street. Call a hovercab, Watson. We have a shuttle to catch. The lunar shuttleport, my good man, and with haste. If I am to help you, Miss Morstan, I must know everything. Why don't you start at the beginning?
Okay, but there's not really much to tell. I'm an orphan. My mother died in childbirth. My father traveled to the moon before I was born. He went missing and was never heard from again. A few days ago, I received an envelope containing this ring. With it was this mysterious letter from someone named Thad Sholto. He said,
You've been done a great wrong, Miss Morstan. I will explain everything when we meet in person.
he asked me to come to the moon. He even included a lunar shuttle ticket. And he said if I felt nervous about going alone, I should bring someone I trusted. So I came to you, Mr. Holmes.
You did the right thing, Miss Morstan. Most interesting. The letter was mailed in New London. This leads me to believe that the man who sent it is the same man who followed us to the shuttle port.
Huh?
You two proceed to the windows and have a look. I shall be along shortly.
So this Sholto fellow said he would meet you here?
Yes. He said to wear this ring.
Mr. Thad Sholto, I presume?
Yes, and you are?
Sherlock Holmes. At your service. Pardon me, but one cannot be too careful. What was in that envelope you sent Miss Morstan?
A Copernican ring, a shuttle ticket, and a letter. Why do you ask?
Just making sure you are the same man who sent the letter. Come, Miss Morstan is most anxious to hear what you have to say about all this.
I came to Earth to make sure you would receive the Copernican ring without any problems, Miss Morstan.
Which is why the package was mailed in New London, I presume.
Now you will learn what all the mystery is about. The story I'm going to tell you may seem unbelievable, but I swear every word is true. 20 years ago, my father became partners with a miner named Morstan.
My father?
Yes, your father. No, But they never got around to filing the partnership papers. And then it was too late. The mine collapsed in a lunar quake.
Don't leave me down here!
I'll come back for you, Morstan! I promise!
And your father was lost.
I knew there was a reason why he never came back for me.
My father abandoned the mine. After he passed on, my brother and I inherited the property. When we started to clear out the rubble, we found a small fortune in Copernicans which my father had hidden. And we found this, the original partnership papers, in which Morstan bequeathed his share of the mine to the daughter he'd left behind on Earth. Well, since the papers were never filed, there is no legal obligation. However, even though my own brother does not agree with me, I feel we have a moral obligation to you. So I brought you to the moon to claim your inheritance. The treasure and gems our father's mined, but never sold. They are, by all rights, half yours.
Thank you, Thad. You were right. It is an unbelievable story.
And not over yet. Please, Mr. Sholto, tell us about your brother.
Edward? He is, well, greedy. He wants everything for himself. If I weren't his brother, he'd probably try to cut me out, too.
It's incredible.
And here we are. Home sweet home. Excuse the mess. My brother is usually a better housekeeper. He must be avoiding us. I'll go talk to him. Make yourselves comfortable. Are you familiar with lunar survival basics?
I am, sir. But Miss Morstan,
This is my first trip.
Well, the only thing you really need to know about are the air pods, those things that look like coffins over there. In case of a sudden air loss from a meteorite strike or whatever, all you have to do is climb inside and you'll be perfectly safe. I'll be right back.
Well, Miss Morstan, it's been an exciting day. I fear that it is not nearly over, however. I have a feeling something is quite amiss here.
I feel it too. What do you think is going on, Mr. Holmes?
I'm not sure yet, Miss Morstan. We can only wait and let the story unfold as it will.
I have my suspicions, Holmes. This mysterious Edward is up to no good, mark my words.
Give it back or I'll blast you! I'm warning you!
We must do something.
What are you doing?
Oh, no! To the airlock!
Mr. Holmes!
Take my hand. The coffee table, Watson! Block the hole with it!
Brilliant, Holmes!
Get us to the airlock, Watson!
Hold on! You must suit up! The oxygen generators will automatically shut down as the pressure drops.
Stay here, Miss Morstan. Watson and I will look upstairs. I imagine this would be Thad's brother, Edward. See what your med scan picks up.
The data shows he's in suspended animation, induced by the activation of the emergency air pod. These must be the older models. The newer ones don't put you out automatically.
Then he shall keep.
My brother attacked me. He took the gems. I tried to stop him.
He's losing consciousness.
Vital signs sinking. He's going into suspended animation, but I don't think he's in any danger of cardiac arrest.
But in imminent danger of another kind of arrest. Inspector Fairley of the Lunar Police. Stand aside, please.
Good heavens! I believe the atmosphere is now present.
Along with the local constabulary. Most observant of you, Watson. Allow me to introduce myself, Inspector Fairley.
I know who you are, but you have no authority up here. We can solve our own cases, thank you. Take him to the hospital for revivification along with his brother, but keep him under armed guard.
Wait! Young Thad did nothing. It was his brother Edward behind it all.
His brother, who is unconscious in an air pod and cannot defend himself? His brother, who called us fearing for his life? Really?
What do you mean, fearing for his life? We are the ones who were almost sucked into the vacuum of space.
Listen for yourself.
This is an emergency. My life is in danger. My brother's outside. He's trying to steal my gems and get rid of me. You have to help me.
Please remain on the line. An operator will
We may be provincial here on the moon, but we try not to overlook the obvious. Have a nice trip back to Earth, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, and give my regards to New Scotland Yard.
You can't let them do this, Holmes.
Fret not, Watson. That recording proves nothing. Come, we must examine the real evidence. Starting here, this remote control device was apparently not obvious enough for Inspector Fairley. Watson, please perform a complete analysis. Scan for any DNA residue, and see if you can discern what functions it controls, if any.
Ah, there is DNA present, but its identifying pattern is not present in any of the New Scotland Yard's current databases. It most certainly did not come from Thad Shalto or his brother. As for the remote function, whatever device it controls no longer responds. I believe it is an older model control, originally used in mining endeavors.
Thank you, Watson. Most enlightening.
The police took Thad. I tried to stop them, but they wouldn't listen.
Little has changed in the last 300 years, I'm afraid. Don't worry, our friend Thad will soon be free. Excuse me.
What is he doing?
Detecting, Miss Morstan, or as he would say, using his eyes and brains.
Watson, what do you make of this?
I say, it's as if the ionizer blast came from outside the window. But that's impossible. The window material is melted on the outside edge, but jagged and broken on the inside edge. And there are traces of lunite, a commercial mining explosive commonly used in airless environments.
Most observant. Come with me. I believe the answer to this conundrum lies in the mine, not here.
Is this where my father was lost?
Yes. Watson, this area would not have been affected by the explosion in the living quarters. Scan the area for any recent traces of lunite residue. I believe it will lead us to the answers we seek.
Interesting. There are traces of lunite residue on and around the spacesuit, but nowhere else. However, my scanners detect something far more intriguing. A biological life form hiding behind this air grate. Stop! We're coming after you!
Hold on, Watson. Let me see.
Oh, Holmes, you make things so complicated sometimes. You go left, I'll go right. Just be careful.
That is exactly what I am doing. Observe. There are footprints made by dust from the cavern which lead to the right, yet none lead to the left. Odd, don't you think?
Not at all. There's only one of him, Holmes. How can he be in two places at once?
Misdirection, Watson. Look, the left side has been swept clean. So that is the way we shall go.
I don't understand. The man sweeps the floor once in the while. All the more reason to follow the footprints.
Exactly what he wants us to do. Hand me that shovel.
A trap!
Eyes and brains, Watson. Follow me.
We're cut off, Holmes!
Not necessarily. Our quarry got across, and so shall we. Hold on tightly, Miss Morstan. We are about to make a great leap of faith. Give us a push, Watson. Ready? Steady? Go, Watson. Watson!
When we get back to Earth, I'm making an appointment with a body shop.
You'll have earned it, but it is not over yet. Stay back, Miss Morstan.
Get back!
Give it up, man. We are not going away.
My temper is as frayed as the rest of me, sir, so I suggest you...
I said get back!
Don't shoot, Watson. You might hit Miss Morstan.
My aim is impeccable, Holmes.
I repeat, do not hurt Miss Morstan.
Miss Morstan? My daughter?
Father, you're alive!
New Scotland Yard insisted I bring the lads back here, Holmes. Inspector Lestrade assures me you have solved the mystery. I am convinced Thad is the guilty party, but I am willing to hear your case against Edward.
What if neither is the culprit?
What are you talking about?
It couldn't be. Thad set me up. He's trying to get my share. There's a lot of money at stake, you know? You liar, Edward! He's just greedy. He wants it all.
Quiet! One of you is criminally responsible for this mess, and I'm going to find out whom.
Who, Inspector? Who? Gentlemen, may I introduce the original owner of this Copernican mine, Mr. Philip Morstan.
What?
I know this comes as a bit of a shock, so please keep an open mind while I recreate the exact sequence of events for you. Our story begins 20 years ago with the cave-in in which Morstan was presumed lost. He in fact survived, held in suspended animation inside an emergency air pod for the entire time. Finally, the power supply gave out. Morstan was released from his 20-year slumber, and like Rip Van Winkle, he awoke to find the world had changed around him. Morstan overheard Edward and Thad arguing over their father's Copernicans. He had no way of knowing they were arguing over whether to give some of the gems to his daughter. Morstan felt the gems were rightfully his, and came up with a plan to get them back. Just before Thad was to return, Edward Shalto was startled to see someone in a spacesuit lurking outside the window. Who else could it be but his brother? But it was Morstan, booby-trapping one of the windows with a remote-controlled explosive charge of lunite. Thinking it was his brother come back to ambush him, Edward did not notice that he had spilled his soft drink in his haste. He locked the door to buy himself some time and ran upstairs to call for help. Morstan got in through the air shaft system. He overpowered Edward and forced him into the emergency air pod, which put him into suspended animation. While Morstan was searching for the Copernicans, Thad arrived with the rest of us. Morstan was not expecting anyone and had his spacesuit audio off, so he did not hear us. Thad went looking for Edward and discovered the intruder. Thad thought Morstan was his brother. He grabbed the ionizer to subdue him, and it accidentally went off. Thad was winning, and Morstan was desperate, not realizing there was anyone else downstairs. He detonated the Lunite explosive, causing the decompression that forced Thad to retreat into the emergency air pod. While Miss Morstan and I were fighting for our lives, Morstan retreated through the airshaft system to the security of his secret lair in the mine, never knowing anyone else was there. There, in the airshaft system, we later chased him down and brought this 20-year-old mystery to an end.
You're alive!
You spin quite a tale, Mr. Holmes. But you are wrong. Explosives? What explosives? One of these bickering delinquents shot out the window with an ionizer gun. One of them was trying to do away with the rest of you. It's obvious.
It's impossible. The broken window was melted on the outside edge by the heat of the Lunite explosion. If the ionizer blast were the cause, the melting would have occurred on the inside edge. You two owe each other an apology, I think. There's no villainy in this story, only misunderstanding. Sorry, Inspector, but Thad and Edward Shalto are guilty of nothing more than a bad case of sibling rivalry.
Just one thing, Mr. Holmes. How did you know that Morstan was still alive after all these years?
I didn't. But who else knew there was a treasure hidden here? Who else had opportunity, motive, and inside access? When you've eliminated the impossible, whatever is left, no matter how improbable, must be the truth.
You must think we're a little slow up here on the moon.
No more or less than anyone else in this room, sir. We all have eyes and we all have brains. It is how we use them that counts, and how we shall use them in the years to come.
Investing in the future means many things. To some, it means building personal power or wealth, no matter the price. Amazing! Hundreds of degrees below freezing, and the vegetables still grow faster than I could have dreamed possible. The process works. We can grow food faster in a near vacuum and at any temperature. I could never have done it without you, Elsie.
I'm the grateful one. You've changed my life in ways you can't imagine. But Hilton, what if your discovery fell into the wrong hands?
There's no way it can. Our secrets are safely locked away in our computers and our heads.
Not again!
I'm coming! Just a minute!
Hilton! Don't open the door! No! No! You.
Deidre, Wiggins, Tennyson. Excellent. So good of you to join us.
We've been thinking, Mr. Holmes.
Yeah, we do all the legwork, but you get all the fun.
What they mean is, we like to take a shot at this detective stuff.
Not just gathering clues, but figuring out what they mean, too. From the beginning.
You mustn't underestimate the importance of gathering information. Without it, there is nothing to analyze.
We know that. We just want in on the analysis.
Very well.
That's it? What's the catch?
No catch. You may begin with this case.
All right!
Stella!
Holmes, is this advisable? Not to belittle their abilities, but they're awfully young to...
Tut-tut, Watson. They know my methods. Why not let them apply them?
Holmes! About time you got here.
And good morning to you too, Lestrade.
Yeah, whatever. No time for chit-chat. I need your help.
Correction, Lestrade. You need their help.
Huh? Yeah, right. Ooh, evildoers beware.
Humor me. Besides, remember this, the best assistant is a well-trained assistant.
Elsie Cubbett, wife, found her unconscious near the deep freeze. Cubbett Farms has been here 5 years. The Cubbetts have been married for 1. Hilton Cubbett's going to cryogenics for a thaw. It's gonna be a while before we get any answers out of him or his wife.
Were there any witnesses?
The room itself is a witness. Our job is to observe what it has to say and deduce what has occurred. Getting the computer running again seems to be in order. Tennyson? Wiggins, why don't you check outside for signs of a break-in? Deirdre can help look for evidence in here.
Do you mind? This is still my investigation, not a class field trip.
Of course. Please, proceed.
Okay, if you must help. Wiggins, check outside for break-ins. Deirdre can help in here.
Just one set of prints. Leading away from the tank.
And what does that tell you?
That someone walked from the tank to the terminal after Cubbett fell in.
Or after he pushed him in.
A clue? Where? That's not a clue. It's a cartoon. Okay, copy it if you think it's so important.
What are you doing here?
Investigating a crime. Inspector Lestrade, New Scotland Yard. Now, what are you doing here?
I'm here to see my cousin Elsie. Where is she?
By now, she's in New London Hospital with her husband. What did you say your name was?
Slaney. Abe Slaney.
And where were you this morning, Mr. Slaney?
At my hotel.
Can anyone confirm that?
My pillow. I was asleep. See here, I don't have to take this. I should be asking the questions.
You've told us enough. You may go.
What? Holmes?
Don't leave town, Mr. Slaney.
Hey, I checked outside for signs of a break-in, but...
So good of you to stop by, Mr. Slaney, if you'll excuse us.
What a creepazoid.
Notice anything else about our Mr. Slaney?
Lousy dresser.
That's what happens when you live on the moon. You lose touch with what's trendy back on Earth.
How'd you get that?
His walk, the way he moves and breathes. I've seen it before.
Sure, he's used to much lighter gravity.
He must have gotten here in the last week not to have his Earth legs yet.
Something else.
He never asked what happened.
Perhaps because he already knows.
Meet me at the hospital. I just got word. Hilton Cubbett's awake.
The last I remember is being at the farm with Elsie. There was a knock at the door. After that, nothing.
Any idea who might want to attack you or why?
My wife worried this morning that someone might try to steal my new process. It's worth a fortune in the right hands, but I have no specific idea who might want it.
Funny, she brought that up the very day you were attacked. Anyone in her background she might have been concerned about?
I know very little of my wife's past. She wanted to forget it and asked me to do the same.
What about a cousin? Abe Slaney.
No, never heard of him.
Elsie Cubbett's room, please. Elsie, aren't you going to welcome your long-lost love? What?
What do you mean she's missing? Stake out the farm! Now! I want those computers secured. I'll be right over. I have to go. Mr. Cubbett, I'm afraid your wife has left the hospital.
What? But how?
It seems she wasn't as sick as we thought. She's taken off.
But why would she leave?
We'll know that when we find her. But as of now, your wife has become a major suspect in this investigation.
That can't be. You're wrong.
So, we know now that there was no evidence of forced entry.
But we found a second man's footprints leading from the freezer to the computer.
Not Hilton's. I checked his shoes at the hospital. So someone else tried to break into the computer but couldn't. Oh yeah, show him your big find.
I say.
But what is it?
Okay, I'm going in. Lights. I said lights! Oh, shit! So much for voice-controlled lighting systems.
What about Slaney? I know he had something to do with this.
He could have been the one who made the prints and sent the email.
Maybe they were plotting together. Elsie could have planned to steal her husband's secret all along.
You're right. She must have known something because she warned her husband before it happened.
But why would she do that if she was in on it? Maybe she wanted out, or was planning a double cross.
But do you have enough evidence to support these theories? Do you have enough facts to determine the truth?
Files deleted.
Mrs. Cubbit? I had a feeling I'd find you here. Halt! Oh, the good news is, you're alive.
Holmes is right. We're just guessing. Think. What do we really know?
Once more from the top. Cubbit was there, his wife, and someone else.
So here's Cubbit, and here's Elsie. No break-in, so we know someone let Greencracker in. There was a struggle. What else do we know?
That an ionizer was fired and Cubbit landed in the tank. Elsie ended up unconscious next to it.
We know Greencracker tried to get at Cubbit's computer files. We know most of what happened.
But we still don't know why.
I think you've got it.
The letter's in a secret code? But what does it say?
So, what did you do with the files, Mrs. Cubbit?
I erased them.
You expect me to believe that? Something so valuable and you just wiped them clean without a thought?
I gave it a great deal of thought. Believe me. I've done nothing wrong.
And nothing wrong? You're the main suspect. Why does your past begin a year ago? Why is everything before that a sham? As far as official records are concerned, you don't even exist.
You don't have to answer. I have lawyers. They can...
Hilton, stay out of this. You don't know what you're getting into.
I'm sure Mrs. Cubbit has told us as much as she safely can. If she has no wish to discuss her past on the moon...
Who told you about that?
You did. Your gesture is used to adjust oxygen intake on spacesuits used in the moon's mining colonies. I understand that under exertion or agitation, you must increase your oxygen manually. Research tells me it becomes a nervous habit in time. I've seen it done before. By a Mr. Abe Slaney.
What's he talking about, Elsie?
I've said too much.
Is Tennyson sure this is the booth? It's awfully close to Cubbit Farms.
Yep, and we checked every inch of the booth. This is the only place left to search.
What are we looking for again?
Holmes always says, look for something that doesn't fit the pattern. Something that doesn't belong. The message code's complicated. Maybe there's a copy, some notes. Hello, what's this then? Lunatic. It's a nightclub down by the waterfront.
How do you know it has anything to do with the case?
Just a hunch. And this?
Hey, let's call Mr. Holmes.
We'll be right there. Watson! Yes, I am familiar with cryptography, having written more than one treatise on the subject. Very good. When cracking a code, seek the symbol that repeats the most. In English, E is usually the most common letter. You're on your way. So are we. Come, Watson.
Coming, Holmes!
Hey, what are you doing? We can't go in there. They'll never let us in.
If we wait for Holmes, we might miss him. Come on!
Clear off, you lot.
Hey!
I told you I'll have the formula. Soon. Just be patient. What? Shh.
Ah, Mr. Slaney, wasn't it? Fancy meeting you here.
You? What are you doing here?
I might ask the same.
I'm staying at the hotel upstairs. I thought I could find some old friends here that might help Elsie.
I find your concern puzzling, since you are most likely one of the reasons Elsie left the moon.
What are you saying? I've never been to the moon.
An interesting gesture. I've seen you do it before. I've seen it done recently as well by another person. Elsie Cubbit.
Hold, sir! You are under arrest!
No need for that, Watson. My fighting skills may be centuries old, but they're still fair enough to stop you, Mr. Slaney.
Please, I surrender.
Very good, Tennyson. You know what to do. Send the message immediately.
I'm sorry, Holmes. I lost him.
Not your fault, Watson. He surprised all of us.
How can we find him in all of New London when he knows we're on to him?
Tennyson can help us there. Come, time is short. We have a trap to set.
I've talked to my husband. He's convinced me to tell you everything.
It would help if you could confirm the events of that fateful day.
I went to the moon to work at Galaxy City. That's where I met Abe. He talked me into joining the rebel movement. But the rebels went too far. The price they wanted to pay for freedom was too high.
Lunar shuttle departing from Gate 5.
I left for Earth to make a clean start. I changed my name, erased my past. But one day I started getting threatening email messages.
From Abe Slaney.
Abe! You monster! He wanted my husband's formula. With it, the rebels could be self-sufficient, independent from Earth.
Hilden came in and confronted him.
They struggled, and then... I tried to pull him out. Abe couldn't get Hilton's files, but I knew he wouldn't stop trying. I had to erase my husband's discovery before more damage could be done.
Files deleted.
I knew we could reconstruct them from memory. Abe would not win.
And he will be stopped.
Nice work, Holmes. Now, all I have to do is find Slaney.
Then let the detectives who solved the case take you to him.
Elsie? I got your message that I could have the formula. I knew you'd reconsider. Just like I knew you'd remember the code we used on the moon. Soon the formula will belong to the rebel cause. And the cause will thank you.
Flowers? Oh, for me? You do think of everything, Slaney.
You sent the message to Slaney?
No, Tennyson did. He cracked the code and found an email address where Elsie could contact him. We just told Slaney what he wanted to hear.
And Slaney came right away to collect.
So, Watson, our young companions did a splendid job of solving the case. It was just a matter of getting enough facts to analyze accurately.
I must admit, Holmes, I had my doubts, for which I roundly apologize to all.
Talk is cheap, Watson.
Nothing says I'm sorry like seconds.
It's down to this, folks. The winner here will have the pole position in tomorrow's Asteroid Belt Grand Prix. Silver Blaze has the lead. But there's a fierce battle for the second spot. He's had to eject. A tough break for Hank Shepard, the pilot of Phaeton 1. But the course crew is with him, and he's okay. Silver Blaze has set a new course record. We'll be back in 5 to visit with the team behind Silver Blaze. Here's Colonel Ross, owner of Silver Blaze, and pilot John Straker. Can you give our viewers a closer look at Silver Blaze?
I suppose that would be all right.
Hush! Don't mind him. He always barks at strangers. Silver Blaze. It's gone! What?
Grayson wants a bust on this one, and he wants it now.
We'll be right there. Come, Watson. The game is afoot.
Curious.
The disappearance of this racer promises to be a most interesting case.
It could be anywhere.
Hardly anywhere, Watson. After all, we are talking about a 20-ton spacecraft. Surely that must narrow possible hiding places.
Well, whoever stole it didn't have much time to hide it, and we've checked everywhere imaginable.
Nonsense, Lestrade. You must expand your imagination. The thief certainly did.
Brought Silver Blaze directly here from the racecourse, then went to meet Colonel Ross.
And within those few minutes, my racer was stolen.
No help from the security system. Scanners were offline, video offline.
Of course they were offline. I was only gone for a few moments.
It seems difficult to believe that this was a spur-of-the-moment crime, inspired by a brief lapse of security.
I suppose not. Yeah, Bart here was the sole witness. If only he could talk.
These are spare parts from another racer.
That's what's left of Blue Streak. It crashed during the Saturn race last month. Now I've lost Silver Blaze as well. If you don't find it, I'm ruined.
You're ruined. We're all ruined. You haven't paid me or the crew in weeks. Now we've got no chance at the prize.
Very well. I've learned all I need to hear. Thank you, gentlemen.
You call this an investigation?
How long were you outside the Silver Blaze space dock, waiting for your interview with Colonel Ross and Straker?
5, 6 minutes, I should say.
Could your microphone have picked up any sounds from the other side of the space dock door?
Let me just fiddle with the levels here a sec. Here we go.
How interesting. I can make out the sound of Straker's dog panting, but otherwise not a peep. Thank you. You've been most helpful.
You can catch the next shuttle home. The culprit is Ross.
Ross? Steal his own racer? Really, Lestrade, your imagination is working overtime.
It's all here. He had an obvious motive.
I see he's set to collect a sizable insurance settlement on the stolen racer, but he stood to win twice as much in the race.
And he was the favorite.
Still, if he raced, he ran the risk of losing and coming up empty-handed.
Perhaps we should be concentrating our suspicions on the other contestants. They all have a motive to want Silver Blaze out of the race.
Here you are. I found the thief.
This should be interesting.
That's him. That's the thief. Mapleton. With Silver Blaze gone, you think you're going to win tomorrow.
I'm going to win tomorrow, Silver Blaze or no Silver Blaze. Phaeton 2 is ready to go.
I'll see you in prison.
You'll see me in the winner's circle.
Gentlemen, stop your engines or you'll be cooling your jets behind bars. Both of you! Holmes, what are you doing?
Reckless accusations are of no interest to me. Evidence is. And this is evidence. Mapleton, I assume this is your utility ship?
Of course it's mine. Every team has one.
Except Ross's team. Isn't that right, Colonel? I didn't see one in your dock.
Right, it's a budget thing. We can't afford one.
So you borrowed this one?
I did no such thing.
The ion damper underneath is damaged. You can see where the insulation has deteriorated and spilled out?
So,
I found evidence of the same ashy substance on the floor of your dock, Colonel Ross.
You took my utility ship without asking? How dare you?
I didn't, and you know it. You took it into my dock, didn't you? Confess, you stole Silver Blaze.
Knock it off! The two of you!
Tell me, Mapleton, who was piloting the utility ship during the race, when your pilot was recovered after the crash?
I don't know. Ask my pilot, Hank Shepard.
We will. Come, Watson.
Oh, I never saw the pilot. He was gone before I got out of my escape pod.
You were lucky to escape that crash unhurt.
I'll say. I thought I knew that course backwards and forwards, but that last asteroid took me totally by surprise. Hey, Lou! Was that you flying the utility ship during the race?
It was my turn, but somebody crossed me off the schedule. Do you know who replaced you? Beats me.
I don't understand, Holmes. What is so important about the utility ship? After all, the thief has Silver Blaze.
A very clever effort at misdirection, Watson. You'll see. It is all falling into place.
It is?
Watch this replay of the end of the race.
A video glitch?
No, a glitch in the scheme. Let us see if we can retrace the path of the elusive Silver Blaze. Are you ready, Watson? We shall recreate the race.
I just have to signal Lestrade at Luna City, and she'll have the course markers activated.
That's the starting flag. And we're off. We may not set any course records in this craft, but we'll be able to see everything the racers saw.
These projected course markers are quite ingenious, don't you think, Holmes? Couldn't have a race in space without them.
Indeed. They appear solid, yet they are only projections. Those asteroids, however, are very real. Avoid them, Watson.
No! My apologies, Holmes.
I'm gaining an increased respect for the skills of those racer pilots. There, that's the asteroid that surprised Hank Shepard. Let us take a closer look. That course marker's not activated. Signal Lestrade, see if she knows why.
I know why. It's overloading. The controls, they're useless.
Steady, Watson.
Hold on! I can't control it, Holmes. We're going to crash. The controls are jammed!
Think, Watson, think! What are the options?
Guidance system is offline. Propulsion is unavailable. We have no options.
There are always options. Can you dump the ion fuel cells?
Yes, Holmes, I think I can. But what good will that do?
I can ignite them by sending a charge to the hull. The force of the explosion may be enough to push us clear of the asteroid. It's worth a try.
I've jettisoned the fuel.
5, 4, 3. Lift your feet, Watson, or you shall get a jolt.
Oh, my.
2, 1.
It worked, Holmes.
Elementary physics, Watson. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
In other words, we just needed a push.
I'd say someone isn't happy with our line of investigation. We must be making progress.
Good thing Shepard and I were able to borrow Mapleton's utility ship and go after you. I'd like to get my hands on whoever set that bomb.
To be accurate, it wasn't a bomb. The course controls were accessed from right here in Luna City. Somebody sent a packet reflection signal to the pod.
Which caused the power overload. Shepard and I left the control room after we activated the course for you. Someone must have slipped in after us.
Someone who could manipulate the course projections with ease. Someone with advanced knowledge of holo technology.
Well, that could be just about anyone in the racing game. We rely heavily on simulations during development and training.
And where were you when the pod exploded?
On a comlink to Earth, speaking to my insurance agent. Check the logs.
And where were you?
In the dock working on Phaeton 2. My crew can confirm that.
Unless they're in it with you.
Now, no point in making reckless accusations.
Hey, did you hear? The shuttle with tomorrow's prize payoff just left Earth. It'll be here soon.
Shame you won't be able to get your hands on it, Russ.
Nor will you when they cuff you and take you away.
Get that mutt away from me!
I've noticed that your dog does not appreciate the company of strangers.
Observant, aren't you? Well, that's what makes him a good guard dog. I've gotta go. If you want to see the prize shuttle come in, you better hurry. The observation deck's getting crowded fast.
Shuttle Special, this is Escort 1. We've got a clear flight path to Lunar City. Huh? Where did that come from?
Shuttle, jettison your cargo or be destroyed.
Nobody's jettisoning anything. No effect. This is bad.
This is your final warning. Break off your attack or suffer the consequences.
Shuttle, I don't think we have any choice.
Roger that, Escort. I think we've got to give him what he wants.
Why don't you admit it? You were behind it all along.
I'll do nothing of the sort.
1, you had motive, the insurance payoff. 2, you had opportunity and access to your own space dock. 3, you had the know-how to booby-trap the holopod to stop Holmes's investigation.
I have an alibi. I was on a comlink to Earth.
Comlink records can be faked.
But it wasn't. I did a DNA scan of the comlink he used. It proved positive. But you had the motive to remove your competition from the race. You had the same technical skills needed to explode the holopod. And Holmes proved that your utility ship was in Ross's dock.
You are right about one thing, Watson. The utility craft is one of the keys to the mystery. You see, Silver Blaze could not have been stolen from Ross's dock because it never returned there after the race.
What?
Silver Blaze never left the race course. What crossed the finish line was a projection using the same technology as the course markers themselves.
Of course. We saw the ripple effect on the replay, caused by 2 projections crossing each other.
Exactly. Our culprit mounted a portable holopod onto Mapleton's utility ship and projected the image of Silver Blaze all the way back to Lunar City. Of course, he couldn't return the utility ship without disconnecting the holopod and hiding it among the salvaged parts in Ross's dock. I should have looked more closely.
What are you saying, Mr. Holmes, that the thief is...
Did you hear? It's been robbed. The prize shuttle. Robbed in space.
And you, sir, are the thief.
Me? Oh, you just saw me a few minutes ago. How could I possibly have robbed the prize and be here now?
With Silver Blaze, the only craft that could get you from the scene of the crime and back to the moon in time to maintain your alibi.
So the motive wasn't about the race, but the racer?
It was your dog which first made me suspect you, Straker. You didn't know that a reporter was just outside the door the whole time. Her microphone picked up the sound of your dog panting. We've all seen how your dog barks whenever it meets a stranger. Yet, at the time Silver Blaze was supposedly stolen, the dog did not bark. So, no stranger could have been there at the time of the crime. Only you, Straker. You returned the utility ship to Mapleton's dock, then rushed to meet Ross and the reporter.
Blaze, it's gone.
A decent piece of acting, Straker, considering you knew that Silver Blaze was already in its hiding place.
Silver Blaze? You know where it is, then?
It had been hidden on the race course itself. No wonder Phaeton 1 crashed. There seemed to be an unexpected asteroid in its path. I must compliment you on your skill in manipulating the projections. A fake asteroid, a fake silver blaze crossing the finish line.
Not to mention a disagreeable little explosion.
And your final triumph, a warship threatening enough to force an armed convoy to relinquish their treasure.
Why should I waste my talent so a loser like Ross can pay me a fraction of what I win for him?
We could have won fair and square. I'd have done right by you.
I did right by myself. Sick 'em!
You'll never catch Silver Blaze now.
Ah, but we can, with your help. I take it you too can program the course markers.
Of course.
Certainly.
This is what I need you to do. Lestrade, you do know how to pilot this machine, don't you?
We're about to find out. Ugh, it's no use. He's got too much of a head start and a faster ship.
Stay as close as you can. I have a surprise in store for him.
He's coming back!
Of course. He can't spend his ill-gotten gains on Jupiter, after all.
I'll shake him.
It's no use. We can't keep up.
You can't catch Silver Blaze. Nobody can. Huh? What?
That's right, straight through them, Lestrade. The tables have turned now. Give up, Straker.
Never.
He jettisoned!
Time to collect your criminal.
How do you like them asteroids, eh?
Masterful. Can we pick up Silver Blaze now?
They're nothing but holograms.
Elementary geometry. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
I think we deserve front row seats for the Grand Prix tomorrow.
Silver Blaze may be fastest, but as we've learned, that does not always guarantee victory. Now does it?
Our story begins 25 years ago aboard a prison transport shuttle bound for the lunar penal colony. It is the tale of one man's mistake, which is compounded by the passage of time until it creates a twisted web of lies so snarled that only Sherlock Holmes can unravel the truth.
This is wrong. We can't do this.
Listen, Armitage. Do you want to spend the next 25 years of your miserable life cleaning algae tanks on the moon?
But I'm innocent.
That's what they all say.
When my appeal is heard, I'll be released. I can't jeopardize my chances by breaking out now.
No one will believe you weren't part of it. You're in it up to your neck now, just like the rest of us. So go on, take the keys and unlock the other cells. I said go!
Space Central Skywatch, Space Central Skywatch. I need you to get a message to the Lunar Police. There's a prison break in progress.
Trevor! You worthless Zed, where are you? Get your carcass out here where I can see you.
Who are you? What is your location? Can you give us more details?
We're on a prison shuttle bound for the moon. That's all I can tell you. I have to go now.
Wait! Don't disconnect. We need to establish your...
What are you doing in there?
I was looking for weapons, and I found the emergency transmitter, so I smashed it. No one can rat us out now.
Good work, lad. Looks like you're one of us after all.
What do you think you're...
Stow it! We're taking over the ship. Turn it around, now!
I can't do it. We're too far past the halfway point.
We're going back to Earth.
There's not enough fuel to get us back and land safely.
In that case, we'll be taking the escape pods. All of them. And just to make sure you don't try to follow us.
Wait, Hudson, don't do it!
You're in it up to your neck now. Sayonara, suckers!
This is prison shuttle. Prisoners escaped. Damaged guidance system. Drifting. Ethernet radio disabled. We are doomed.
Sherlock Holmes. Bring Sherlock Holmes back to life. Back to life.
It's elementary, my dear Watson.
Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
Sherlock Holmes is on the case. Moriarty. Sherlock Holmes is on the case.
Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Aha! The prisoners used a solution of acidic salts which short-circuited the force fields, allowing them to break through the wall without detection. Simple. And most ingenious. When did they make their escape, Lestrade?
3 days ago.
They could be on the moon by now. We shall resume the hunt tomorrow.
Ah, Holmes!
Hello, Watson. Who is this visitor from Norfolk who has come to see me in such a hurry? Not Victor Trevor, is it?
Why, yes!
Okay, Holmes. How'd you know? Tell all.
Elementary, my dear Lestrade. A hastily parked hovercraft right outside my door, covered in alluvial mud found only in a certain area of Norfolk, where my friend Victor Trevor maintains a summer house. Eyes and brains, Inspector. Victor! What a pleasure. I haven't seen you since that industrial espionage case we consulted on together. Lestrade, this is Victor Trevor, a bright young man and an expert in industrial forensics.
Can I speak freely in front of her?
Absolutely. As freely as you would to me or Watson alone.
Very well. Holmes, I need your help. My father, Edward, is being blackmailed.
Really? What makes you think that?
He's drawn large sums from the business over the last 3 days, but there's no reason. Our bills were paid and we didn't owe anyone anything.
You know, there may be other reasons.
Right. Have you asked him why?
When the accountants called, I came to the city immediately. I've tried to get Father to talk about the money, but he refuses. Then I found this note mixed in with his financial papers.
To my third son, your Gloria was a Scot.
It doesn't make sense. I am his only son. I know no one named Gloria, Scottish or otherwise. I've tried to talk to him, but he's acting most peculiar.
A most challenging conundrum. I shall turn my full attention to your case, Victor.
Hold on, Holmes. New Scotland Yard needs your expertise. You just can't go often.
Sorry, Lestrade. Victor is my friend. But more than that, he is a friend in need.
Holmes, there are perps on the loose. New London could be under siege. Moriarty could be involved.
I offer a compromise. Watson will be most glad to assist you, and I will consult as needed.
Jolly well right.
Yes, but...
No buts about it. Come, Victor.
Well, Inspector, perhaps you should start by briefing me on the current status of the case.
Oh.
Nearly there, Holmes. I am depending on your powers of observation here. There have been some mysterious things going on in the last few days. Unless I'm imagining things.
Like that man watching your father's house with night glasses.
Yes!
He, at least, is most certainly not a figment of your imagination.
Father, I would like you to...
Later, Victor. Look now, this is Mr. Hudson. He is joining the firm and will be our new partner. You will answer to him from now on.
Nice speech, Eddie.
But Father!
I have decided. No more discussion.
Hello, Victor. How nice we're going to be partners together and sharing the good life, eh, lad?
Excuse us.
Let them go.
Holmes, what is happening?
Let me see that note again.
The cyber field surrounding the prison wall was mysteriously broken, allowing a number of prisoners to escape. Only 2 of these men are still at large.
This must mean something. Victor, my third son, your Gloria was a Scot.
It's simply total nonsense, Holmes. My father must be losing his mind. Look at that man Hudson. What kind of riffraff is he bringing into the company? What could he be thinking?
Maybe this note is his way of telling us. The word third could be the key. If we look at every third word after that, we get the name Gloria Scott. I believe this could be a clue. Have you heard that name before?
No. Who could she be?
Maybe your father will tell us. Victor, I noticed he has 2 tattoos on his arm, one with the initials J.A. and one with a barcode. What do they mean?
I don't know. He never...
Impossible! You're asking too much.
Come on.
I absolutely refuse to listen to you doing...
Down!
What are you doing, Victor? Are you spying on me?
Not at all. Holmes was wondering if you knew someone named Gloria Scott.
No, I don't. Mr. Holmes, this is none of your business. I must ask you not to interfere in my family's affairs. Please leave my property at once.
You tell him, Eddie. Mind your own business, Snoop, or I'll mind it for you. You hear?
Father, who is this man?
Oh! Now look what you've done. Go away!
Victor, I think we need to go now. We have given ourselves away. You may be in danger if you stay here now.
I'm afraid we'll have to do something about this nosy Mr. Holmes. How did he know about Gloria Scott?
I haven't the slightest. You let me handle this, Hudson, or I'll...
Oh, you're what? Call New Scotland Yard?
Confidential sources have sizes of Scotland Yard made today's bold hijacking of the Royal Press.
This is most odd. Your father has led an exemplary life. But it is as if this life started almost exactly 25 years ago.
25 years ago. Well, that's when he started his robot tech business. Just before he married my mother. A year later, I came along.
But what of his life before then?
Let's get down to business. Any thoughts on where the final 2 escaped prisoners might be?
Logic dictates that they will go for safety and easy access to transport.
Right. So, let's search the central hover station at Waterloo.
That's brilliant, Inspector. I'll get right on it.
Oh, wait!
There appear to be no records for our friend Hudson.
But that is impossible, Holmes. Everyone is registered.
Obviously, not his real name. Too bad we didn't get a DNA scan. As for Gloria Scott, There are dozens of women by that name, but none with any obvious connection to your father. There are several references to women named Gloria Scott around the time your father's records appear, but I think we need to go back and ask your father a few more questions about this mystery lady.
That is if he will answer them. Holmes, I think we're being followed.
Good. The very fact that he is following us tells me we are onto something. When we reach our destination, perhaps we will learn why he is following us.
Holmes, we could have been inside.
Yes, but we weren't, which leads me to believe it was meant as a warning to keep us away, not to injure us.
I hope you're right.
You call the fire department. I shall call the yard and give them the description of the craft that was following us.
Watson, this is a waste of time.
Wait, go back. Now, Lestrade, there are two very suspicious characters, if I am not mistaken, and I'm usually not. Hello, gentlemen. May I see your identification cards? Routine check, that's all.
Aye. Hudson's the name and insurance is my game. Just one moment, sir. Oh dear, I'm afraid I've left my papers in my other trousers. How inconvenient. What's the problem, officers?
No problem, sir. Just a formality. And you are?
Edward. No! I can't carry on this charade anymore. My real name, is James Armitage, and this man is Leonard Henry.
You fool!
The man who blew up my friend's hovercraft was one of the outstanding escapees from the prison breakout. Relay that information to Watson and Lestrade immediately, officer. Thank you.
Holmes, I can't find my father or Hudson, but I've discovered another mysterious note.
Victor, I know 4 is too many. The pheasants seem odd game, but all sense is from the bottom up. Your father. He is using the same code, but now it is every 4th word. It reads, "The game is up." Time to bring in New Scotland Yard.
At last, we're getting somewhere. The databank shows these two were on the Riley 25 years ago, along with the man who blew up Victor Trevor's hovercraft.
Really? They were part of the group that made that impossible escape from the prison shuttle?
The very same. So, perhaps we can finally find out how they did it.
Look here, Armitage. Tell us what happened. What does Henry hold over you? We know about the Riley. We know you escaped. You've been living free as a bird for 25 years, but that's all over now. Tell us about it. Maybe we can help you.
Armitage, another transport is leaving for the moon in 3 hours. Unless you tell us everything, you and your chum Henry will be on it.
I have nothing to say.
You give me no choice. Take him away.
Do you think we will ever find out exactly what happened on the Riley 25 years ago?
Not from those two. Holmes, welcome back.
Victor's father has disappeared. Have you picked up anyone suspicious in the last 2 days?
Watson Collard, the last of our escaped prisoners. Leonard Henry, the ringleader.
He and the man we arrested with him were part of the lot who escaped 25 years ago from the Riley.
The Riley? I remember reading about that. It was a prison shuttle en route to the Lunar Penal Colony.
Oh, right. There was a big scandal. Gloria made them take her name off it.
Gloria. Please, elaborate.
Gloria Scott Riley, the woman who pioneered algae farming on the moon. The shuttle was christened in her honor.
So that is what Edward Trevor meant by that note. Watson, what were the names of the men you arrested today?
James Armitage and Leonard Henry.
James Armitage. J.A. Also known as Victor's father. The other man must be Hudson. Where are they now?
They wouldn't talk to us, so I had them sent back to the moon for debriefing. Takeoff is in 15 minutes.
The moon? Can you stop them, Holmes?
Maybe. Lestrade, I will need your driving skills. Victor's father is in grave danger. Watson, Call the shuttle and tell them another prisoner is arriving. Then, get me to the man who supplies your canine patrols. Fast.
Holmes, how did you figure out that my father was James Armitage?
He gave us all the clues. The initials J.A. tattooed on his arm. The other tattoo was his moon-based prisoner code. Gloria Scott was part of the name of the prison shuttle and not a person from his earlier life. Then, when Henry, the man he introduced to us as Hudson, re-entered his life, he knew the game was up. He was convicted of a minor crime when he was your age. He might have been freed on appeal if he had not escaped first.
You lost your nerve, Armitage. You had everything. All I asked was my piece of it. I was the one sitting in prison for 10 years while you were living off the fat of the land.
Not my fault you couldn't go straight.
Watch your mouth, you self-righteous weasel. If they ever find out what really happened on the rally...
Company! Better get to know each other while you strap yourselves in for takeoff. You might have eons.
Gee, oh, a little trick I taught myself. When you're in prison, you have a lot of time on your hands. Some people have a photographic memory. I have an audiographic memory, and my hearing, it's as sharp as a dog's. Most prison locks are keyed to a series of audiotronic pulses. They can't make them electronic or holo. They'd be too easy to hack open from the outside. But ultrasonics now, who can mimic that, huh? If they thought the Gloria Scott was a mystery, let them solve this one.
The Gloria Scott? You were behind that?
Quiet! You want out of here or not? I have to be able to hear the overtones. This one will be a piece of cake. Soon as we clear the Van Allen belt, we'll be as free as birds. The ship will be ours.
Clever.
I have plenty of practice in jail. Those doors open and close 100 times a day. I'll memorize the codes to them all.
Armitage, or should I say Trevor? It is I, Sherlock Holmes.
Holmes? How did you...
Later. What does he hold over you? I must know the answer.
When Hudson took over the Gloria Scott, I was the one who smashed the emergency radio. He made me part of his escape. He threatened to expose me to Victor and the police unless I paid him. Is there nothing I can do?
Quit your yapping. I'm trying to sleep and advise you to do the same. After we break out, there'll be no time for naps till we're back on Earth.
I didn't want Victor to know any of this. Guess it's too late for that now. I'm ready to confess everything.
It is not the time. Just play along for the moment. For Victor's sake, and for your own.
Here we go. Sesame! Hang there, lads. I'm going to get myself an ionizer. Come on!
Holmes, this is a nightmare.
Just follow my lead.
Don't move a muscle, Captain. You take care of the emergency radio and disable the emergency pods. Except the one we'll be using, of course.
You're not going to leave these men without any way to escape.
Why not? Who says lightning can't strike twice? What do you care? We'll soon be back on Earth with new names and new identities.
I can't be party to this twice.
Then stay here and take the shuttle. It's a long ride to nowhere.
Not again!
Stay back. I shall take care of this.
Don't move, Hudson. The game's over. I didn't want to bring shame on you.
I don't care what you did. You're still my father, and I love you.
How sweet. A felon and son reunion.
You mustn't be so cynical, Lestrade. Edward Trevor is a true hero, and the security tapes of the happenings on the shuttle will prove it.
He told us of your trick with the dog whistle you got from the supply officer, Holmes. Very clever. How did you know Hudson was so sensitive to ultrasonics?
Simple, Watson. When I first met him, he reacted to something that I could not hear. And then, every dog in the neighborhood started barking. I imagine the prisons will be changing their locking systems now. Beth Lastrade.
Yes, I alerted them. I suppose some good did come of this.
Inspector, what will happen to me? I know I've done wrong. All I care about is paying my debt to society and getting back to my son.
I understand from Holmes that you risked your life to stop Hudson. I'm positive that your actions will be taken into account. In fact, I'll make sure of it.
Thank you, Holmes. How can I possibly repay you?
You just did, Victor. After all, what are friends for?